Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengal fan on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, repping the Bengals for the AFC Northerners. Wanted to get my video up now. I'm missed so much time last week that I'll be working tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, full days. So just so behind. So I wanted to get it up now. I didn't think I'd have a chance to actually do a video if I don't do it today. Want to take a moment, wish everybody a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Hope you're enjoying your day today and your holiday weekend coming up. Let's go through. I just got a few comments. I'm not going to keep you long. I try to keep these under 5 minutes or 7 minutes. So let's see what we can do here. I rewatched the end of the Baltimore game, and I'm even more pissed off than I was at the end of the game on Sunday. We had a 2nd and 3. And we could not get at midfield, and all we needed was a field goal to tie the game, and they ran 3 poor plays, ending with the Cody Core catch. So I'm even more frustrated when I watch that. Because of that ineptitude, this Sunday's game against the Browns is a must-win game. If you can't beat the Browns at home in a divisional game, the season's over. So this is now a must-win game. They cannot afford to drop any more of those games. They needed that game Sunday. Yeah, they have the tiebreaker against Miami and Indy, but you know, you can't win this week. It's over. So now we're in a must-win game. And the thing that bothered me the most was the reaction by the players and the coaching staff to try and pull some positive stuff out of this. And the coaches, I was really encouraged by the way they responded. No, they gave up 100 yards to a guy you knew couldn't throw the ball. I mean, there's nothing encouraging about last week. And I don't like the whole participation award mentality that this coaching staff and this team took after the game last week. So I don't know what we're going to see this week. I really don't. Either we're going to see a team that's going to step up and get the job done and start executing fundamentals. This is about fundamentals. When you can't tackle, that's a fundamental job in football. So if they can't, they're either going to execute this week and get the job done, or they're going to not, and they're going to fall off the cliff and the season's over. So let's just see how this team responds. Last year, this team responded and won some really critical games down the end, not for our season, but just for their mindset. So let's see what they do on Sunday. Things I want to see more of from this last week. I like the Boyd passing. I really like the halfback or the wide receiver option. So I'd like to see more of that type of thinking out of Laser. Also things I liked last week, and I'm wearing the jersey for Gio, is we had Gio and Mixon in the backfield together. Let's see more of that. You know, on that 4th down play, why wasn't Gio split out wide? Why was Core out there? I mean, let's start thinking outside the box and using the personnel we have. Things I don't want to see again. I don't want to see Cody Core on the field. You can put him out there on a kickoff, but other than that, I don't want to see him out on the field at all. I certainly don't want to see him on the hands team if we're in an onside kick situation. So yeah, Cody Core, you're done. We may have Green and Vigil back. We don't know what the official reports are yet. This is Thursday, not Friday. So hopefully we could use Vigil. Would be absolutely vital. We need a linebacker. It's something on the linebacking core to ignite this team. Also, I'm calling out the defensive line again. Get after Baker Mayfield. Don't give him time. Start with penetration. Let's hit Nick Chubb early. If Nick Chubb gouges us for 200 yards, we won't win on Sunday. We just won't. I mean, this team has to figure out ways to tackle. I want to address a couple things that was stated in DGBG's video, which I encourage you to watch. If you haven't already, watch it after mine. But first of all, he talked about Jackson not being an influence. We didn't bring in Hugh Jackson to get your playbook. Well, if anything, we would use your playbook against you. We would say, okay, this is what they think we know, and this is how we should play this play, not assuming that they're going to run that play. We know they're not going to run any of those plays. So it's not about using your playbook. It's about tendencies and personnel. You got a very young team. You've got guys we haven't seen. Some we may have only played once or twice. This is about Hugh Jackson saying, hey, you know, this guy tends to cheat up on 3rd down more. He tends to do this. Sometimes he overreacts to motion. You know, it's about tendencies and about intimate knowledge about your personnel. That's what Jackson brings to the table. Will it be enough? No. If we don't execute, nothing's going to be enough. But that's why we bring Hugh Jackson in. It's not about your playbook. hopefully the Bengals can, like I said, can frustrate Baker Mayfield with some pressure. He's still a young quarterback, and we need to shut down Nick Chubb. I mean, there's just no way around it. And I'm running at the 5-minute mark, so I'm going to wrap this up. I did want to respond to one of the comments. We had somebody talk about me wearing a Jeff Blake jersey. Now, I only have 2 jerseys from the Lost Decade team, and they're Blake and Corey Dillon, and they're both good players. So they were just unfortunate enough to be on the Bengals during that decade. So I'm going to look into getting maybe an Achilles Smith or a Kajana Carter or a David Klingler. I'll go on eBay and see what I can track down. I do agree with the comment that, you know, Jeff Blake was a good guy. Why am I breaking out that jersey when we play poorly? And you're right. Jeff Blake shouldn't be tied to that. He was already tied to a bad team. You know, he and Pickens and Corey Dillon were the bright spots on that team. And the other thing DGBG asked me was talk about coaches that I would want to see, and that discussion is way premature. First of all, we need to know who else gets fired. There may be a coach on a team right now that would get fired that we would want, and what assistants would be available, who would be looking to leave the college ranks. I mean, there's a lot of things in play there before I start talking about whether or not you know, who I like to replace Marvin Lewis. So I actually like Marvin in terms of his evaluating other coaches. I would like to see him, and this is what I wanted when Zimmer was here, was Marvin Lewis step up to the GM box and have a different coach. So I like Marvin Lewis in an overall capacity as like GM, just not as a head coach. And certainly I don't want to see Hugh Jackson as the head coach, because I don't think he'd make a good head coach. He'd be fine as an assistant or coordinator, but I don't want Hugh Jackson as a head coach. So with that, I will make my prediction. I think the Bengals pull this one out. I think they respond. I think it's a close game. I don't see the Bengals with their defense. They're not going to blow anybody out of the field. If they jump out to an early lead, they just give it back anyway. So I'm looking at more of maybe a 28-24 type game. So that would be my prediction. If they lose this week, I'll be picking against them the rest of the season, because it won't matter. It'll be over. So with that, I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving today. And I will sign off as I always do with fuck Mike Brown until we get back to the Super Bowl and you start spending some money on this team, and fuck Marvin Lewis till we win a playoff game, okay? All right, have a great Thanksgiving, everybody, and we'll put up a reaction video after the game. Take care.